Okay, I titled the episode Turd Eye.
Nice. Still got it.
Yo!
Wait, what episode is this?
175.
God damn. Happy quarter bicentennial.
Yeah.
3/4 bicentennial. No, that's not a real thing.
I don't know. I don't know what 75 is. It's probably a pretty expensive gemstone, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's a milestone of sorts.
Like nobody gets to wedding anniversary 175.
No.
Unless they're like Abraham or someone else from the Bible who lived to be 1,000.
Dracula, also in the Bible.
Oh, do you know why we don't live to be 900 anymore? Because those motherfuckers in the desert pissed off God. I think it was Aaron's kids.
Say because God said so.
And he's like, you little motherfuckers, you only live into 120. And it's like, wow. That's more than
for the best.
For me.
Yeah, you want 900 years of this shit?
I kind of do.
Because really?
Yeah, because then I could be like, yeah, I'll write a novel in maybe the next 200 years, and then I just put it off and then never.
Yeah, exactly. It. Just imagine 800 years of being a wage slave, and then retirement is like 100 years. And that's it. Yeah,
because you're not the only one who's gonna live to be fucking 1,000.
Yeah,
and everybody else will, and they'll like have figured out money better. Because I'm 40. And I still haven't figured out money.
Oh, could we talk about meme stocks again, or do you want to?
Yeah, we could talk about my fucking, because I invested in BlackBerry.
Me too, but a long time ago. I made no money. I made back what I had initially invested.
Do you still have it? Because
I haven't sold yet. So technically, I haven't made anything.
Wow, like then not that long ago. Oh, by the way, it's already started. We've been going this entire time.
Hey, Internet, welcome to episode 175 of Outrage Factory, the podcast where we look at the things that made people mad online this week and explain why they are dumb for caring.
Hi, Internet.
Oh yeah, shit. Sorry, I took your line.
I don't know. I think I've done that for like over 100 episodes now.
You have 175 to be exact. I'm your co-host, Derek Bolin.
I'm your other co-host, Dale DeRuiter. I really love having no guests because I just step on your flow so much easier. I'm just like,
it's like fucking I'll interject, fucking tread all over those words. It's better. I was surprised to
address why we don't have a guest.
Well, I was surprised to find out because you and I were talking yesterday. You were like, oh, I have to worry about like offending our guests or like saying the wrong shit. And I'm a little surprised that you, Dale DeRuiter, would ever worry about offending anyone.
Wow. It's more like I don't want to like scandalize them while they're on record, so it'd be awkward. Because I've been letting it fly. I promise you, I haven't been holding back too much. I just haven't like with Derek, I could say fucking anything. Like if you go back 100 episodes, we were talking about the shitting tree and jizzing in the woods and woods porn and all this fucking crazy shit that you just like, you want to let loose, but you just can't quite go all the way.
See, I think this is actually, it's because Kate and I spent time dunking on your pronunciations last week, and you were like, fuck it, we're never having a guest. We're never having a guest who will tell me I mispronounce words.
Yeah, because without someone to back you up, you'll never make fun of me on this podcast.
Exactly. I would never, ever do that. Cool. How's your week going, Dale? What's happening with you?
Oh, so remember how we went to Marshall's yesterday in Abbotsford and I bought a kettlebell?
I do remember that. You do some swings today?
Yeah, I did about 30 swings. Like I did 10 John Travoltas on each side and then a double arm swing. And
wait, like the Saturday night
the one
thing?
Where you start on the ground, then you go all the way up and then you go down. I just call them the John Travoltas.
I like it. I hope it sticks.
And my hammies hurt all day. They just fucking hurt.
It works.
And I didn't know I was that out of shape because during the pandemic, like I haven't been going to the gym pretty much at all. And I was like, well, I'm on my feet all day at work. That's gotta be enough. Like
it's not.
It should be enough because it fucking sucks and it hurts.
It just sucks, but you're not actually like, you're not stressing your muscles really doing that. You're just like supporting your weight. Kettlebells are actually like a fucking, that's the only exercise equipment my mom owns. She has like a kettlebell. And I'll
she
be like,
also listen to Joe Rogan?
Is he all about it?
Never stops talking about kettlebells. He is so far into kettlebells. They have their own designer kettlebells. Like he has like the different sizes are different monkey heads, and then he has other ones that are the different sizes are different monsters. Like he has like zombies and werewolves. Well, it's not Joe Rogan specifically, but he's like half owner of that company on it, and they sell them on it. So your mom
Maybe
and Joe Rogan should hang out.
I'll talk to my mom and I'll be like, what did you do today? And she'll be like, oh, I just did like 150 kettlebell swings. And I'm like, holy fuck. Like that's,
Settle
she goes
down,
hard.
Mom.
She likes the kettlebell. And then when I'm over there, I'm always like, damn, this is like a good fucking workout. Cause it's like, you're doing the full body, right? Like you squat all the way down and then you go all the way up and you're using a weight and you have full range of motion. So, it's fucking late ass advice now because life is getting back to.
I just took a sip of this kombucha and I was watching myself in the camera and I just saw the gooblies at the bottom.
At the bottom.
Yeah. There's like that special fucking kombucha touch where you have to swirl it. People who are listening to this are fucking loving this. Hey, if you're still just listening to this podcast, just go to fucking YouTube.
We're much too handsome to be. We have great voices, but
we do.
Our looks are even better than our voices are.
And
so
today,
you should really head on over to YouTube.
Dale's today I have I am extra shiny. I just showered. I was like, oh, if I'm going greasy, it's just gonna bug me and I'll be shiny. And then I was like, oh wait, I'll be wet. And then it just, I don't know. It's like this whole thing that like, I don't know. I was asking Derek about it, and he doesn't get like the after shower sweat where it's like you're just so hot from being in the shower, you're like shiny. Maybe it's a fat person thing, but I was gonna point out I have
sweaty person thing.
I have Riot Girl bangs that are real short and cut across because I just showered and I didn't do anything with them. So I could try out for Bikini Kill.
You could,
except for this whole beard thing.
Didn't you play bass in a Riot Girl band at some point in high school?
I never played bass in any band. I wanted to, but I was never good enough.
Yeah.
Because it was just like my novel. I was like, I'll learn later. And then I never actually
I'll learn later.
I never did.
If we lived to 900, I would be an accomplished bass player.
If video games didn't exist, I would have written a novel or not. Probably more likely to.
I'm gonna lean towards not on that one.
You know what's my favorite part about not having a guest is how fucking all over the place we are.
Well, I'm like, now we have no one to rein us in on our tangents, like which our guests have been surprisingly. It's like if I was a guest on a podcast, I wouldn't walk in and be like, "Yo, hosts, like stay on topic." Yeah. But you guys ours do
all over the place.
Ours do that. Okay.
So
we want to jump into headlines or what?
Let's talk about Turd because that's what I titled this
cleverly
episode. So if you don't know, this guy in South Korea built an attachment for, well, I don't know if it's an attachment. I don't know. It's for your cell phone. So you can be like this, if you're listening to this again, go to YouTube, but it's just, I'm pantomiming, looking at my phone, looking down. So he built this thing that goes on your head and your forehead. And it's got like it sits there, and then when you tilt your head down to look at your phone, a little lens opens up, or like a little eyelid or whatever opens up, and then it has like a sensor. So if you get within, I think it's like a meter of an object, it'll beep, causing you to look up, so you don't have to look up from your phone.
Yeah, this is fucking okay. So I thought at first when you told me about it, I thought it was a camera that like broadcasts to your phone, so you could like, if you're looking at your phone, you can see on your phone what's actually approaching you. That's even that's fucking dumber. Also, why wouldn't we just invent like, and this is gonna be one of those great ideas that we put out there into the world, and then some Korean businessman who's listening to this is gonna be like, holy fuck, and make $1 million and make zillions of dollars. But like, if you had, like, imagine like a collar that went around your neck, a collar with a little like boom stand on it that came out, and then it just had like a clip, and you could clip your phone in. So because the problem here is that people are looking down at their phone like this when they're walking.
Yeah.
So if you have your phone like hovering right in front of your face right here, you can see. You don't need a sensor, and it's much more low tech than a forehead sensor, and it probably looks just as fucking ridiculous. So why not invent something that will just like hold your phone in front of your face? And then only problem with that is that then you got to be doing your scrolling up here.
That's what the watch is for.
There you go. We figured it out.
Yeah. Tennille just commented saying that fun story. Last week when we were talking about how shitty our ex-bosses were, she commented something, and then a boss from 14 years ago said something to her. Do you think Wajo's getting shit because now that her boss got a taste, he just watches all her episodes? Ex-boss, sorry. He watches all her episodes and then still calls her out even though she's not commenting in the main thread?
Yeah, I mean, the damage is already done. And if you are watching this video on Facebook, I would encourage you to comment on it as much as possible so that everyone in your Facebook social circle knows that you are watching two very handsome men with great opinions, and then they come and watch also.
And then they will be smarter, either by we accidentally say something smart, or they see how dumb our conversation is and go, oh, I know how to be smarter than that. And then they feel smarter. So are we done talking about the Turd eye? I mean, that was like the fucking tent pole of this whole episode. It wasn't really. It was just something dumb that I saw that. I also wanted to say, I think it was a sarcastic invention. Like, I think he invented it so that people would see how ridiculous they are.
Oh, like
being
phone social zombies. Commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the time to say, hey, everyone, you look ridiculous glued to your phone was 15 fucking years ago. We're like, sorry, this is the way the world is now. It's not going to change. It's like people, do you remember, this must have been like a decade ago, but there was like a phase where you'd have to do shit like put your phone in a lockbox if you went to a restaurant, and all these places were like, oh, these restaurants are so novel for doing this, and like make everyone lock their phones up and they have to socialize with each other face to face. And then everyone realized that was a dumb fucking idea because people would rather be on their phones than socializing with other human beings. You know, I don't think we need to adapt to a world in which we would all always rather be looking at our phones. And the way to do that is to buy Outrage Factory's new accessory, the phone caller, where we'll put your phone in front of your face all the time, and you never have to worry about walking into anything.
Or you could have conversations with your friends that are more interesting than the internet, which is pretty hard to do. But like
it is.
Oh, I was gonna say something about, remember that documentary, The Social? Oh, it wasn't The Social Network. That one that was about what? Not the one about Facebook.
I know what you're talking about.
The one about how bad the internet is because people can't get off it. And then they had dinner, and then they locked the girl's phone in the case so they could have dinner. And then she smashed the case to get her phone back, and they didn't beat her to death like my parents would have.
Black Mirror episode?
No, it was that. It was this like fucking documentary that was out like a year ago, and everybody was all like saying how brilliant it was.
Beginning of the pandemic. Hold on. I put my fucking coffee like slightly out of reach, so I have to try and reach it. Here.
The best thing about having video is we all get to watch Derek Effort. Oh, fancy guy with his pour over.
Yeah. Come on. Come on.
Oh, excuse me, podcast, while I pour my water all over my coffee instead of using a drip machine like a savage.
I mean, it's already
savage.
No, I remember that coming out. Oh shit! Whoa, we're flying. Topic to topic. Go.
I keep forgetting that we're talking about something. I'm like, wait, I just thought of something.
I totally forgot because I got so excited about what you were about to say.
Okay.
That my thought escaped my brain.
So my girlfriend started watching Bridgerton. She's like, "Do you want to try this?" And I was like, I think I heard something about that 2 years ago, and it is the fucking most terrible show ever. And
Okay.
it fucking hurts my body to watch it. But I realized something that is actually relevant to our podcast a couple episodes ago. Remember when we were talking about Little Nas X's video about him like grinding on the devil and going to hell and
Call
stuff?
Me by Your Name. Yeah, I recall that.
His video was actually mocking the Bridgerton theme, because the Bridgerton theme, like the beginning of the episode of the show, has like the white tree with writing on it. And like that's why he was dressed all fancy. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Everybody probably thought we were so dumb who watched Bridgerton.
Now you're
and
dialed in
saw us talking about the episode.
Pop culture. I was really worried that you were going to say that you liked the show, and I was going to have to be like, okay, I'll check it out. It's basically like a Jane Austen like novel, isn't it? Like Pride and Prejudice.
I have no idea what Jane Austen novels are written like, but it is Victorian English. And as much as I like making English accents, I fucking hate Victorian English so fucking much. All Shakespeare's bullshit. Let's stop pretending it's smart. There's a reason they teach you in grade 10, because that's how smart it is. It's grade 10 smart. Stop reading Shakespeare. Read something else.
Shakespeare was I mean, he has some good stories. Like whenever you see like an adaptation of Shakespeare and you're like, wow, I really like that because it was modernized. You know, there's been a few of the like 10 Things I Hate About You. Bomber of a movie.
Funny if you take Shakespeare and you change it, it instantly makes it better.
Well, you just like you modernize it, right?
Yeah, but 10 Things I Hate About You was for like 15 and 16-year-olds. That's the whole point about Shakespeare.
Yeah, which was my age when the movie came out.
That's true. And Romeo and Juliet was, my point is Shakespeare
Romeo
is
and Juliet
for
was good.
Teenagers. But I guess teenagers back in Shakespeare time was like middle age.
Also, Hamlet is like dark as fuck. They need a new remake of Hamlet, I think.
Yeah.
Like just modernized and like not containing any references to Shakespeare whatsoever. And I think that would be good.
Oh, Tennille likes Bridgerton. She just told us.
Yeah. Completely unsurprised by that.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't. So I'm not saying it's bad that she likes it, but it's just like, I never really watched the OC or any of that like super melodrama, like teen melodrama.
Dale.
But I feel like Bridgerton is similar. It's just set in Victorian England. There's a lot.
The OC is a fucking great show, and it holds up.
Okay.
Like I recently rewatched a couple episodes of the OC. Still good as fuck. I rewatched a couple episodes of Dawson's Creek. That's not as good. Dawson is actually a very unlikable character.
Was he just grooming all the characters?
Well, yeah, he's just like this like whiny little gaslighty shithead. And you're like, why the fuck was this guy the hero of the show? Especially when Joshua Jackson as Pacey is right there and a much better character. Dawson fucking sucked. But the OC is still great. And I would encourage anyone listening to this to give it a rewatch or watch for the first time.
I'm not gonna watch that.
Including you, Dale.
No, I'm not going to watch that. I'm not going to watch Grey's Anatomy or any other specifically aimed at girl shows. Not because I have anything against it. I don't know. Like if I'm going to watch like something aimed specifically at girls, it's going to be a romantic comedy because they don't drag out the melodrama and there's some humor. I'm just talking myself into a hole. Yeah.
I just want to see where you took that next. And it just
I know. I was like, oh, there's no way to rescue this. It just makes me sound like my TV viewing is misogynist, but it's not. I don't know.
Well, you've convinced me, Dale.
Well, I was trying to think of something off the top of my head that would prove that my TV viewing isn't misogynist. But like, I watched all the CW superhero shows. Those are good.
That's very much like superhero shows are a traditionally male.
Yeah, but the CW superhero shows like Green Lantern or not,
they are very
Green Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl. That's all I could think of. There's got to be some specifically girly show I watch that I just can't think of. Oh, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I watched that.
I want to go on the record saying I do not believe there are girly shows or manly shows. And in this new gender fluid world, people can watch and enjoy what they want, regardless of traditional gender roles.
Anything would be, yeah, no, exactly. Go for it. Just, I'm not going to watch the melodramatic ones. I'm just saying, anybody who would be offended about me misgendering TV shows probably didn't make it this far into the episode.
No, they like, checked out a while ago.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got for headlines this week?
Oh, wow. Our segues are really on point.
I mean, since we're talking about TV shows, do you want to do the
Root Sports?
The what?
The Root Sports, or were you talking about Sweet Tooth ad?
I was talking about the Sweet Tooth ad that had people. Yeah. Sweet Tooth in general kind of threw people for a fucking loop who were not familiar with this being a show or a comic book. But
can I ask you a question?
There was
before we go any further, because you are the expert on both of these. Like, this is an indie comic, right?
I wouldn't even call it indie.
It's not like a home name, I don't know. It's not like people who don't read comics would know Sweet Tooth the comic. It's like kind of like Fable or Saga or all that other stuff you read. It's not indie, like nobody knows what it is, but it's not mainstream comics.
No, so exactly. It's like it's a big name comic in the comic world. It's created by a guy named Jeff Lemire, who is he's like widely regarded as one of the best writers in comics.
What else has he written?
So much. He wrote Essex County, which is probably his best known work. He wrote
that's his best known. I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
and I dabble in comic books.
He did what was the other one? Royal City, which is another one, another title of his that's super fucking good. He did Descender, which is super good. He did what about Aliens? I want to say that was super good. Jeff, I'm googling it right now. He's Canadian also, which is dope.
I'm just gonna say this is less mainstream than I thought before, because all of these comic book series,
Black Hammer, which is super fucking good. You should read Black Hammer.
Is that an innuendo?
No, it's not. But you should read Black Hammer. You'll love it.
Okay. And then will you lend me your comic books to read it? Because I'm not gonna go buy comic books.
Yeah, absolutely. I will lend. And then he's also done a couple runs on like mainstream superhero comics. He wrote Superboy. He wrote what did he do? Oh, he wrote Green Arrow for a while.
Okay.
He also wrote a Hawkeye series. He wrote Old Man Logan.
Ooh, I love Old Man Logan.
Yeah, so he's a great fucking storyteller. It's just some of his own titles, they receive critical acclaim, but yeah, like you said, they're not really well known outside of the comic, outside of comic book fans. But Netflix optioned his comic Sweet Tooth, which is a show about a very timely show about a virus that like kills most of humanity. But at the same time, it kills most of humanity. It also causes all these basically half human, half animal.
Not all these. Every baby born. Isn't it every baby born after the virus comes out is a hybrid?
Is a hybrid.
To varying degrees. It's not like split like half human, half hybrid. Like there's some that are way more animalistic and some that are more human too. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on your gushing over this. The show is really good.
You know, the show was fucking amazing.
For people who get scared away about like sometimes comic shows go a little too comic-y and they're not as easily digestible by people who maybe haven't read the comic book or something similar. I've never read this comic book and you can follow it very easily and you don't have to know other comic book stuff. Like it's not like WandaVision or something where if you know the subplots of other comic stuff, it helps. This one, you could just go in cold and know nothing and you'll still follow it perfectly.
And I know some people might be scared off by like the sort of sci-fi premise of like these half human, half animal babies and whatnot. But it's
favorite parts.
It was, and it's actually like just a really sweet story about this little boy whose name is Sweet Tooth. I'm not going to divulge too much. The kid who plays Sweet Tooth is Vancouver-based actor, and he was super fucking good. It's just like it is a very sweet story about this likable kid and like all this shit he has to overcome in this post-pandemic world. Would highly recommend everyone check it out. But anyways, that's besides the point, because the reason we're talking about it.
I want to ask my question before we get into this. Before we get into the controversy about it. So this kid, Sweet Tooth, he's like a little boy and he wears flannel. He has antlers. Is that the same kid from the Fallout video? The Fallout Boy video? Remember there was a Fallout Boy video?
Oh, no, but somebody posted it is like the Fallout Boy video. I don't know if Fallout Boy was referencing Sweet Tooth when they made their music video.
Yeah. Did Sweet Tooth come out before that Fallout Boy, like the comics? Did it come out before?
No, it came out afterwards, I think. But
do you think the guy who wrote
the
Sweet
Fallout
Tooth
Boy song sued them or got the idea from that?
No, yeah. Do you think the Sweet Tooth got the idea from Fallout Boy?
I gotta see,
because I went into
which came first.
I went into this with like the exact same thing as the Umbrella Academy, how Gerard Way, the musical frontman from the group My Chemical Romance, he wrote this comic book and it got made. I thought it was the same thing. Like I thought the singer from Fall Out Boy wrote the comics for Sweet Tooth. And I was just like, And it actually kept me from watching it for a bit. I was like, I don't know if it's more of that by that guy who's the singer of Fall Out Boy. I'm not a fan of Fall Out Boy. I know now.
Pete Wentz. But yeah, no, it was. I don't. They're not related, and I don't think he's ever gone on the record saying it was inspired by that. But
let's look up the dates. What was the name of that song?
Sugar, we're going down swinging.
Oh,
Dale.
Like, as soon as you said that, I just heard the chorus, and I was like,
the chorus, a banger of a song.
Oh God. Okay, let's see. That came out in 2005. That was the video. Now,
and Sweet Tooth came out in 2009.
Oh shit! Sweet Tooth got some explaining to do. Do you think they had to pay Fallout
royalties to Fallout Boy, or whoever came up with the concept for that video?
Oh my God! Do you think we just unearthed earth-shattering? Yeah, man. Wouldn't that be awesome if we just picked a fight between Fallout Boy and Netflix, and we accidentally got Sweet Tooth shut down because Pete Wentz was so pissed off that they stole his idea that. Oh, wait, maybe I just had a brilliant idea. Maybe it wasn't even Pete Wentz's idea. Maybe the writer of the music video.
Yeah, it was probably whoever they hired to do the fucking music video for it. Right?
Where would I find the director of a music video?
Director of Sugar, we're going down video on Google, Dale. Matt Lenski.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say maybe it was someone that had to do with Sweet Tooth. And the guy who we were talking about with Sweet Tooth, we're going so deep. I love it. The guy you said his name like 5 minutes ago, and I already forgot who wrote Sweet Tooth. Does the writer of a comic book invent the characters too? Or does he just be someone like, here's what the characters look like, write a story about them?
No, he invents the characters and writes the story. Like they're the world builders, and then the artist just like doesn't just. The artist illustrates it. And then you have like inkers and pencilers, and I don't know what the fuck they do. But
watch the show. Wait, was it Mallrats or Dogma? Where it was like Ben Affleck was to do with comic books.
Mallrats.
And they were like making fun of him because he was an inker. Or no, not Ben Affleck. Jason Lee? Yeah. Where they have that. Yeah, watch that. And it'll give you all the background you need to know about comic book artists.
Oh, so you're a tracer. You trace things. Wait, maybe that was Dog. Yeah, I think that was Dog or Chasing Amy or whatever the fuck
it was Chasing Amy. You're right. I just got confused because there's this part in it that happened inside of a mall because they were at like some CanCon thing. And it was like 20 years ago, and my brain is turning into mush, and all of Kevin
Smith's movies starring Jason Lee
together
and Ben Affleck. Yeah, like I don't blame you for mixing those up.
Okay. Back on topic. Let's talk about the controversy with Sweet Tooth. So,
oh fuck, did we ever go? We still haven't gotten to it yet.
20 minutes later, just going nitpicky about the comic book industry. So, in the very popular newspaper USA Today, Netflix bought a wrap, which means, so in newspaper terms, you have the newspaper, and when you buy an advertising wrap, it's just like a page that goes around the cover of the newspaper. So it's like you have to, like, this just happened like 10 years ago. So it's like there'll be an advertisement, and then the second page, the newspaper starts. So somebody did this, or not somebody, Netflix did this, and those hybrids we were talking about, they wrote all these fake news stories and used stills from the TV show. And they had headlines like hybrid babies born across the US. And then they had all these news articles like would have been in the show Sweet Tooth. And people, it wasn't even that people were upset. What I was seeing most was that young people were like, old people are retarded, and sorry for using that word. Old people are stupid, and they won't be able to differentiate this from news, and they'll think it's the end of the world. So it was like people were getting offended, like, on behalf of other people.
You see that more and more. It's like there's fewer people getting offended and more people being like, I'm offended at what I'm going to assume people's reaction is to this. And that usually outweighs. I did see a lot of people confused by it, just being like, what the fuck is this? I think it's a year in which people are extremely skeptical of science. And I would not have been at all surprised to see some anti-vaxxer pick it up and run with it and be like, holy shit, look at what the vaccines did to us. I have not seen that yet. And now thinking about it, I'm like, that would be a great tweet. So I'm going to go send that out. It was an interesting tactic, especially in like the modern age that we live in, and we look at how people are like viewing science right now, and we have a bunch of people running their mouths about how fucking vaccines are turning us into magnets, and we're like viral shedding everywhere, and you can like stick metal things to you now.
Did you see that?
I'm just
that nurse on the video she stuck something to her neck. She's like, I'm magnetic now, and then it just fell off. And then it's like, yeah, you guys have greasy skin. It's like my face right now. That's why magnets are sticky to you. You're not magnetic. They're just like plasticky, and it's like when you stick the nose, or when you stick the spoon on your nose and it hangs there. It's not because you're magic. It's because the spoon sticks to your nose.
What? I thought it was magic. Is that not true?
Sorry.
Are you looking for a spoon right now so you can demonstrate?
Yeah,
I'm just like,
I was like, wait, I was just super excited thinking that somehow you'd never seen this magic trick, and I was just going to blow your mind.
Oh shit.
And you've had the vaccine.
I have.
Both.
2 shots now.
Yeah, me too, bro. Vax Bros.
We got the shitty vaccine though. The one that probably doesn't.
We got the good one.
We got the one.
I still contest that it's the best vaccine.
It gives you the least,
the most like regular vaccines.
Yeah, but it also gives you the least protection. When just looking at like the efficacy of it, and I'm like, I'm like 30% protected against COVID now. Cool.
It's just like a thinner condom, Derek. We're going at this fucking virus, and we're gonna feel everything. Back to the Sweet Tooth thing. I wanted to say, like, people are like, oh, these old people are too stupid to understand. I think it's because they thought it was something, and then they're like, well, I can't say I was dumb enough to fall for this, so I'm just going to say that some old person fell for it. But old people know this because advertorials have been in newspapers since like the 80s, and usually what you have to do is there's a whole like legality for doing stuff like this. So it's like you can't just take like a fake news story, put it on the cover of a newspaper and make it look exactly like the newspaper, because when they made these rules, they realized people would get confused. So what you have to do is you usually have to use different fonts from the ones that used in the newspaper, and you have to make the layout of it noticeably different. And if you go look at pictures of this, I'll put them up on the video if you're watching this after. They'll be the actual layout of the front page is different than the layout.
It does not look like
USA
USA.
Today.
Like it doesn't say USA Today on it for fucking starters.
Yeah, it does.
What?
It does at the top.
Does it really?
It says USA Today weekend edition or whatever, but it's like, and then it has the banner for USA Today, and then it has like a gray line, and then it says advertisement, and then there's a lot, like the way you could tell it's different is it has a lot of white space, which means that like the type doesn't go from edge to edge, which the USA Today is a pretty gray newspaper, and all that means is they fill up all the holes with type, and there's a lot of type compared to papers.
Oh, hold on. I'm reading an article right now.
Some journalism jargon for you. Free.
Someone was actually offended. I'm reading an article right now. I just Googled it, and it says Netflix's Sweet Tooth advertorial in USA Today was beyond irresponsible.
Oh, beyond
irresponsible.
Tell me about it, Derek.
I'm trying to read why it's irresponsible.
Because somebody got excited they could have a deer baby, and then they just got a shitty regular kid, and now they're all upset.
The company failed to understand the responsibility the press has to guard against misinformation, regardless of whether it's intentionally malicious or not. While a person might not necessarily pick up a newspaper and read it in its entirety, front pages are meant to grab attention with striking photos or gripping headlines, etc., etc. Journalistic standards, blah, 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 blah. Larger than that, though, the series arrives at a time when fake news completely dominates and derails news cycles in ways that threaten to undermine journalism as a whole. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. No, they do talk about COVID-19 disinformation in it. So they feel it was irresponsible because there are a lot of dumb people. Here's the thing. Vaccine skeptics don't fucking care if there's a fake newspaper ad in front of them. They believe some truly outlandish shit all on their own.
Yeah.
And if this could have worked in somebody's, like in the pro-vaccine crowd's favor, because if vaccine skeptics were sharing this and being like, holy shit, look at what these vaccines can do, and then you could clearly point to a fucking TV show that it's advertising, they might take a step back and be like, wow, maybe I shouldn't just jump to conclusions about everything I see on the internet or in a newspaper.
Yeah, because nobody is willing to learn from their own mild mistakes more than anti-vaxxers, Derek.
Touche, Dale.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful point. So anyway, so apparently some people were actually mad about this. I don't know if anyone actually bought it or not. People did definitely buy the vaccines turn you magnetic thing, including there was a video of like a literal fucking doctor in Tennessee. I think it was Tennessee.
Wasn't that the nurse, the lady with glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the lady I was talking about, where she put it on her neck. And she's that's her first mistake, because to get it to stick, you got to put it on where you got the actual vaccine. But I saw a TikTok of a guy, and he stuck, and it's like funny because he was like pretending like he was like, oh, it's totally sticks. So he sticks a little magnet to it and it sticks. He's like, oh, but then he takes baby powder and he makes it all like dries it off with the baby powder. Then it doesn't stick. And he's like, there. That's
the worst. The worst thing to come out of that was that, like, so when everyone got their first shot of the vaccine, myself included, are you okay, bud?
I just burped and it went up my nose. Kombucha makes you burp something fierce, man. Ooh, I thought I should remember this. At work. This might be the last time I drink. As I start crying, it might be the last time I drink kombucha on the old pod. Thanks, Joe Rogan. Tell me to drink kombucha.
Does Joe Rogan drink kombucha?
Oh, dude, that's why I started drinking kombucha like 7 years ago, because he was talking about the probiotics and how it made you feel healthy. Joe Rogan's also the reason why I started eating kale.
And bought a kettlebell. Okay, fucking
Yeah.
little Joe Jr. over here.
Yeah.
So
I'm
everyone
too tall.
everyone made touche. Everyone made 5G jokes, myself included, when we got the first round of fucking vaccines, and then now for the second round, everyone's posting vaccine photos of them with like metal shit glued to their faces and being like, oh, magnetic now. And I'm like, that was way too much fucking work. So I didn't even post a picture after I got my second shot. I was just like, yeah, I got it.
How fucking dope would it be though if you just got like free Wi-Fi from the vaccine?
Yeah.
Like if these idiots were true, like we're like not lying, and it did give you 5G and it was magnetic, and you could just like get like one of those magnetic pads for your phone and stick it to your arm and then just have 5G for free. That would be amazing, and I would definitely do it.
All of this sounds fucking cool. Like Magneto, like there's an entire like badass fucking villain persona based on having like magnetic abilities.
Yeah.
And I pay Rogers fucking like $120 a month for fucking 5G. I would gladly save on all of that and not have COVID. And just to wrap this topic up, if you would like your phone to stick to your body, I'd like to remind you again about Outrage Factory's phone collar, which will hold your phone in front of your face. No magnets or vaccines required.
Dude, and it's a pun. I double approve this. Phone collar, get it? Right? Did you even mean
I like it. Unintentional pun. Unintentional. Dude, I feel like we gotta make puns. This now. We got to make it.
We definitely do.
Got it. All right. What else? What else we got?
Oh, since we're talking so much about vaccines, did you see that BC once again cheaps out because we don't have the vaccine lottery because we're all too fucking docile and used to the nanny state. So we all went and got vaxxed, whereas Manitoba and Alberta, they need a little coaxing. So Alberta just said that they're going to give away $3 million in prizes, and Manitoba is going to give away $3 million in prizes. And all you have to do to win or to be entered into the contest is to go get vaccinated.
Yeah, I mean, I was mad about this because they also did it in Ohio or something. They offered like $1 million.
That's another thing too. I was like, the states did it. And I was like, oh, those fucking dumb idiots down there. They're only going to go get the vaccine because they get the equivalent of a free $2 lottery ticket, and then they start doing it here, and I was like, God damn it, Canada, we're used to dunking on the states. It's all we have.
I mean, if someone offered me a chance at $1 million to do anything, just a chance at $1 million, I'd do it. Derek, eat this garbage, eat this entire bag of garbage, and I will give you the opportunity to maybe win $1 million. I'll take that.
I will buy you super pick in the lottery if you eat a bag of garbage.
Well, I will do it. Like I will do $10. It fucking live on air. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. People are like, oh, it's a lot of people get mad about it because they're incentivizing people who might not get a vaccine otherwise to get a vaccine. But those same people are the ones who are like everyone should get vaccinated as soon as possible. You shouldn't be asking questions. Like, just fucking let them offer the lottery ticket.
Yeah.
And get some people across that finish line to get vaccinated. And
yeah. Okay. I'm just pulling up the article, and Kenny in Alberta has offered 3 $1 million prizes. And it looks like all you have to do is you don't even have to have both shots. You just have to have at least the first one. And then you go into enter. Doesn't say where to enter. I'm not in Alberta. Well, if you're in Alberta, just Google it and you'll find out. And
thanks, Dale. Extremely helpful.
Dude, I'm full of knowledge. And I'm just looking up Manitoba. It's probably not going to be as easy as 3-1. Okay. Oh, God. So this is the Manitoba Award. Instead of just 3 $1 million prizes, there are 3 prizes of $100,000 in the Winnipeg Regional Health Authority, a $100,000 prize in each of the remaining regional health authorities, 10 draws for $25,000 scholarships for young people aged 12 to 17 across the province. See, that was actually Manitoba's better because in Alberta, I didn't mention it, but you had to be over 18 to enter. Whereas Manitoba's got something for everybody. I mean, $25,000 scholarship. That's like what, a year at college now?
Maybe like pretty expensive. Second tier college, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe if you go to a cheap school, like I did 4 years for 20 years ago. So I'm imagining that'll maybe get you 2 if you're super lucky and take the budget courses, maybe. Not a course on budgeting, but a course that's aimed at people with a budget. Good stuff.
Of which we are not.
No, we aren't. No, we aren't.
But budget. What, like the rental car company? Fuck out of here.
Zing.
Was there other? I saw there was other. Other vaccine news? Vaccine lottery. What was it? Wasn't there something? Oh, Stampede workers given quarantine exemption.
So if you're going to go work, so here, I'm going to give everybody a little tip. If you want to come to Alberta, Calgary specifically, is it the beginning of July? I'm going to pull up this article. Anyways, if you want to come to Alberta during the Stampede, get a job doing something at the vaccine, and then you could skip your quarantine time because Kenny's a giant idiot. Because all the ground that he's making up, getting people to get vaccinated so that they can stop the spread of the virus, he's just going to let people skip the quarantine if they're working for the Calgary Stampede.
I think it's technically they're aiming at or
is it just that quarantine hotel thing?
Well, no, it's so they don't have to quarantine, but it's not aimed at like volunteers or anything. It's aimed at rodeo participants so that they can open it up to international.
It's competitors, support staff, and workers.
But like, I think it's fine. The thing that gets me is that it shows exactly how bullshit the quarantine was in the first place, because if they can just be like, we're just gonna waive it for fucking rodeo, because you get a COVID test before you enter the country.
Mm-hmm.
So if that test is negative,
yeah,
unless you get it like on the fucking plane or while you're traveling here, in which case you're fucked. But Canada as a whole is waiving, getting rid of quarantine for fully vaccinated travelers by the beginning of July, I think.
This is July 9th to 18th.
Yeah,
I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, so by then they're going to have the mandatory quarantine is going to be gone for people entering Canada, or Canadian citizens entering Canada. And basically, you'll still have to take a COVID test before you can come into the country, which fine. And you'll have to take another COVID test when you enter the country, which fine.
Do you still have to take a test if you're vaccinated?
Yes.
I thought you couldn't get it if you're vaccinated.
What? COVID?
I was lied to. Yeah.
No, you can still get, especially if you have the fucking bunk vaccine that you and I got. We still have like a 2 or 3 chance of getting COVID. Mm. We just you don't get. We're like 100% protected from severe symptoms. But we could still get the fucked up shit that happens when you lose your sense of taste and smell.
Can we still get long haul diseases or symptoms? Like we just can't fucking run anymore. Like, so that basically when I'm as out of shape as I am now and I run out of breath climbing 2 flights of stairs, I could just blame it on COVID instead of me being fat.
Yeah, 100%. Same with post shower sweats. Yeah.
Yeah, the post shower sweats. Hey guys, there's this new symptoms for COVID. It's the you can't stop yourself from eating all of the ice cream and you sweat after you shower. It's the craziest thing. So people listening to music outside really pisses you off. It's like a COVID thing. I don't
know. Yeah. So by the time, because I'm going to the US again in early July, and by the time I come back, I won't have to fucking quarantine, assuming I don't get COVID while I'm down there. Which might be difficult.
Be gone.
because everyone's running around with no masks on.
Dude, they're fucking raw dogging it down in the States.
Yeah,
they just don't give a fuck anymore.
I mean, they're still they're doing much better than they were, but you look at the numbers and you're like, oh, you still have like 20,000 new cases of COVID a day, which is a significant amount of people. But I think
eventually, like, everybody would have gotten it, wouldn't they? Because it's like, once you get it, it's harder to get a second time, is it not? Or did we figure that out? Like, because you get antibodies from getting it, but those don't last forever or whatever.
No.
So
that's why they're saying, like, you get antibodies from A, getting it, or B, getting a vaccine. And we're all gonna, like, this is just gonna be like a yearly shot that we have to get now if we don't want to get COVID. Cool.
Awesome. Are you gonna get AstraZeneca again in a year?
No, fuck no. The only reason I got this thing in the first place because they were just like, here's this shitty vaccine that nobody else wants and you can get vaccinated. Because at that time when they offered it, I was like, well, normally I wouldn't get vaccinated until like August. So yeah, I'll take this one now. And then they were like, oh, we have the good vaccines available like 3 weeks later to everyone who wants them.
Dude, it was like that fucking, did you ever see the marshmallow experiment with kids where they give a kid one marshmallow, and if they wait till the guy comes back, they can have 2 marshmallows, and it's whether you eat it or not. So they're like, you could have the shitty vaccine now, but if you wait, you can have the good one. And we're like, wow, that's my Achilles heel, is waiting. So just give me the shitty one now. And then like a week later, they're like, oh, surprise. We got all these good ones. We got 2 million shots of Pfizer. You should have waited.
Looking at that, because they used that they followed the kids from that experiment like throughout their entire lives. And they found that the kids who could delay gratification ended up being like hugely successful for the rest of their lives. And then looking at me and my choices and the tendency I have to just like take the first thing being offered, I'm like, yeah, that checks out.
They also, what they found out in those kids who delayed their gratification was they were no fun to hang out with and nobody liked them, but they were rich. They had to get rich just so people would listen to them.
It worked though.
Yeah.
It worked. All right. What else we got?
Me drinking water. That's what we got. So we got
Joe Rogan drink water.
Joe Rogan
big water
whiskey.
drinker.
He drinks whiskey.
Is Joe Rogan hydrated? What a fucking asshole.
Joe Rogan is so hydrated. He's like the most hydrated person ever. Do you want to talk about this Roots streaming thing? Which
whatever
is potentially big for both of us because we both like sports. Watching sports. Well, I like watching hockey. You like hockey and football.
Correct.
Neither of us watch basketball or that soccer league, the football MLS. So in Seattle, there's a company called Root Sports. So it's already confusing me because Canada already has the far superior company named Roots that makes banging ass clothing for boring old people. So Roots Sports is pursuing streaming service. Now, this is a big deal to everybody because one of the only reasons a lot of people are holding on to their cable packages is because as of now, you can't stream sports online. Like you could do it for a little on the down low, but you can't do it legally. So what this Root company is thinking of doing is they're based in Seattle, so they're thinking of getting the Big Four from Seattle on this streaming site. So they would have the Seattle Mariners, the Seattle basketball team.
No, don't exist anymore.
Oh, Portland Trailblazers.
Okay.
Which is, okay, sorry. I misspoke. It's not Seattle based. It's the Pacific Northwest based. So they're going to be the Seattle Mariners, the Portland Trailblazers, the NHL team that's coming out next year, the Seattle Kraken, and the Portland Timbers, which I'm guessing is their MLS team.
Wait, no Seahawks on there? No NFL? That's going to be the big moneymaker.
No, because NFL has DAZN.
DAZN is apparently how it's pronounced.
DAZN.
Awful fucking
If you're
branding.
wondering why I couldn't pronounce it, it's because it's DAZN.
That's only in Canada, though.
Oh, is it? I thought that was everywhere.
No, in they can only stream NFL in. They have the like NFL Red Zone streaming rights for Canada and I think the UK. In the US, you would get like just the NFL, wherever the fuck it's called, the Red Zone, or it's basically like NHL has center ice, and that's their like their own native streaming package.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the NFL TV rights and streaming rights are pretty locked up at this point because it's such a moneymaker. Yeah, so this would be good because if this goes through, I don't know if it'll go through because I think I don't know if the Seattle Kraken are going to be allowed to go on there because NHL has all their TV rights going to ESPN this year. They just did redid their contract like last year. It was what, Rogers Sportsnet. Do you remember, Derek?
ESPN?
No, last year. What was it?
In the States, I think it was like, I don't know if they were on any national networks. Like I know NBC carries some games, but I don't think there was like just one provider for all of them.
Yes. I guess it doesn't really matter because my point was that they just renegotiated this whole contract with TV. So I'd imagine ESPN thought about streaming and built that into their contract somehow. I mean, if they didn't, that'd be the biggest mistake ever. So
just
I'd imagine
dumb idiots.
Maybe ESPN will have like a streaming thing that they haven't really unveiled yet because they're waiting till next year. We'll probably hear more in the summer.
I'm sick of streaming services. Like I remember it's just like I remember back like 5 or 10 years ago, and it was like, this is going to be the future. People can cancel their cable, and you're going to be able to just like pick the a la carte shit that you want, and it's going to be amazing. And it's going to be freedom for the consumer. And now I'm like, okay, I have fucking Netflix, I have Prime Video, I have Disney Plus, I have Crave, I have DAZN. If I want to watch NHL games, I have to get NHL Center Ice, and it's costing me probably like $300 a month to have all these different streaming services versus when you just had a cable package, you could get sports, you could get fucking premium channels, you could get movies, you could get whatever you wanted. And it was significantly less than that.
Yeah. I'm not paying $300 a month, but I get what you're saying. Like, it's funny because ironically, we're going to go back to a cable system where they're probably going to conglomerate these streaming systems under one roof and be like, yo, for $50 a month, you get the big 4 streaming sites. Like you could get Netflix, Disney Plus, Crave, Prime Video, all under like maybe even some smart, super rich billionaire like Jeff Bezos just buys Netflix, Crave. Well, I guess you couldn't buy Disney Plus, but you know what I'm saying. Like that could be the way to go.
Yeah, well, you have like all these. It's like this kind of modern meme in technology where you have all these dipshits like reverse engineering technology and inventing shit that's already existed before that this was supposed to like liberate us from. And yeah, I 100% guarantee there's going to be some dude who reinvents cable over the next 5 years where they'll be like, oh, you can pick and choose the shows and channels that you want, and just add them to your package, and everyone will be like, this is the thing you're describing is cable, and we had it, and now we're like, we have to go back the other way.
Yeah. But going back to this root thing, if they do figure it out and like each sports market, like, so this would be like Seattle and Portland would have like their, not NFL, like Derek was saying, but if they had all of their sports under one streaming service, then the beauty of this is it goes year round. So it's every time of the year you'd have one sport going on. Like you'd have hockey, basketball, and then baseball when those aren't going, and then whenever the fuck MLS plays. And then you could start doing this in like other areas. Like if you go Western Canada, you get like the NHL teams and the CFL teams, and that's it. Is there any? Oh, and the MLS teams. I guess. Is there MLS in Alberta? Are we the right people to talk about this? I think, does Edmonton still have a team? Do you know?
No.
Oh.
I think for MLS, it's Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal. I think Montreal is a team.
Let's Google it. Canadian MLS teams.
I know Vancouver and Toronto for sure.
There is Calgary or Cavalry FC, which is Alberta.
What?
Forge, Hamilton, Toronto has York. Oh, wait, is this right? What is this?
That can't be the same league as. Not. All right.
There's 3. Fuck. Oh yeah, there's only 3. Fuck soccer. You're so confusing. It's like in like Europe they have like 6 different leagues, and then they're like, oh yeah, and then we have this like fucking math system where we figure out which teams are going to play each other every year, and I'm like, I don't know. But there's only 3 teams in the MLS. Some of those other ones I was talking about are different leagues.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were right. Sorry, I was wrong.
I know. I'm aware.
But of all the listeners who actually care about MLS or soccer in Canada, being none, I think we'll be fine.
And you just alienated the 2 soccer fans that listen to this podcast.
I don't know. If you're a soccer fan and you listen to this and I offended you, I'm sorry, but your sport is boring. And yeah. Oh, wait, I guess...
Look, another 0-0 draw. It's like,
I was going to make that joke that they don't score, but MLS, the teams are worse, so they score more goals. Because apparently if the scores are really low, that means the soccer teams are good, and the guys who are running around who aren't the goalie are better at not letting shots get through.
Okay, well, Dale, anything else you'd like to touch on in this banger of an episode?
I'm thinking about starting another podcast, but I wanted to, because I was thinking about doing like a conspiracy podcast like we talked about for a while, but I'm still
without me
feel it out. Do you want to be on my conspiracy podcast?
Bro, I will always be on a fucking, what it should be.
Yeah.
It's just you explaining conspiracy theories to me and me telling you how fucking dumb they are.
Well, that was one of my things. I was like, that would be funny if I talk about like conspiracy theories, like you just said, or like, I don't know. Cause like the Anunnaki thing, that's not really conspiracy theory. It's just like, alternative history. Like if I talk about like different histories, like way back, and then explain it to people and just get like fresh eyes on it, that'd be good. I don't know. Like it's still up in the air. Like, I mean, if you want to do another podcast, that'd be fine.
Bro, I only have 5. Let's fucking throw another one in there.
Or we could just talk about conspiracies on this podcast, and then I wouldn't have to start another one.
Let's
table
mull that one over.
Yeah, I think we'd lose our like 3 listeners right now who are still on board. How about you? Do you have anything? How are your other podcasts going?
I mean, I haven't done an episode of the sobriety one in fucking significant amount of time. It's just like my co-host bounced on me after I was canceled on the internet. And then, I mean, to be fair, not to disparage the guy, but I was doing all of the legwork for the podcast. Like I would book the guests. I was producing the audio. I was uploading shit. I came up with the logo. I came up with the theme song. I fucking like sent the interview questions. He would just show up and record, much like I do for this podcast.
Hey, it's different now that we don't have guests. There's a couple steps that I don't do anymore.
But it hit a point where I was doing episodes, and I had some really great interviews with some great dudes. And then it just hit a point where I was like simultaneously profoundly depressed and like completely unmotivated to do anything. And then also I was just like, this is a lot of fucking work. And I'm like overwhelmed with my actual like job that pays me money to do things. And freelance work that also pays me money to do things. to do this podcast that pays me no money to do lots of things. So I haven't published an episode of that. I'm going to start picking that up now that I'm like less depressed and less overwhelmed. And then we launched a new season of our podcast at work. If you are a lawyer or legal professional, check it out. It's great. If you are not, probably not that relevant to you. And I think, and I'm producing Kate and her best friend Kate's podcast. And that's actually doing really well. They have some great guests and a fucking ton of listeners.
Better not be better than
super
ours.
Popular. I mean, it's significantly better than ours.
Okay,
but
I'm just gonna say,
podcast as well.
Every time I look at the YouTube views, every time we have a female guest, the views are higher because people are still want to look at women more than they want to look at us, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe we just get a permanent female co-host. I know there's one watching this right now who's always leaving comments and telling us and correcting us on our shit, who I think would maybe be a good fit for it. Just gonna put it out there and leave it at that. I will not name names.
Yeah, I feel like we should at least try her out.
Yeah. In less awful way to say that.
I'll read Black Hammer and then we'll try out this girl.
Yeah. give her the Black Hammer.
Gee, why don't we have female guests? I don't know.
Yeah. Can't figure it. I mean, the nice thing is that she's known you for like what, fucking 30 years, so she's not going to be offended by your shit.
And if anything, I'm less offensive now than I was 20 years ago. As hard to believe as that is. I think
you've come a short way.
Yeah, I think in general, the whole world is less offensive than it used to be.
I mean, it is, but it's like the Overton window,
still
right?
Offended.
It's like
people. What window?
Well, that's the Overton window. It's like so. It's this theory that like political discourse has shifted to the right because people keep acting like what's acceptable falls within this like specific frame. And people use it as like, it's like an anchoring technique where you say like, this is okay. And anything outside of that is preposterous. And that window for what's okay keeps moving. So that like, even you see this in the States, it's like, even most like left wingers in the States are like centrists. Like they're not like people who vote Democratic are not fucking left wing. They are like, they're like, they might vote for the Liberals if they lived in Canada, but they would probably vote Conservative. But it's like the same thing where like now the window for like what is acceptable behavior keeps shrinking, and people get offended by. They used to be like you could say shit here, and like if you were at this end, people would get offended, and now you can say shit here, and people get offended. So. I don't know what my point was with that, but it's just that people get offended a lot more, but people have to be less offensive because everyone's fucking worried about getting canceled.
So by the Overton window, it looks like there's just as much offensive things going on now, but it's just because what people are getting offended by has moved. So it's like what you're saying is are like objectively less offensive and maybe less racist, but since the Overton window has moved, what people are as the level of anger that people get is the same amount.
Yeah, to like very much smaller shit. It's like I'm not gonna say that the awful stuff doesn't still happen, but like people are as mad at I don't know. Give me a fucking example of something dumb that people have been mad about in the past year. Literally anything. Like just the
every
dumbest
episode of this podcast
shit
that I can't think of.
Yeah.
The Gina Carano thing.
Yeah. That. And like everyone was like just as angry at that as they were at like the George Floyd thing.
Yeah.
But like one of those is like, yeah, let's be really fucking mad about this thing. And let's like save our outrage on the shit that doesn't matter for the stuff. I don't know. But then we wouldn't have a podcast.
That's a good point. That does keep our podcast afloat. Yeah.
It does.
So, no, I get what you're saying. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So, in submission, Dale is less offensive than he was, but people are just as offended by Dale. they get offended easier than they used to.
It's weird to me because people don't really seem to get offended by you on this podcast. They get offended by me, or
because they're like, there's no point. Like they're like, I could get.
He's not gonna learn.
Yeah, they're like, he won't learn and he won't care. Like people will be like, you offended me when you said that, and I'll be like, okay, bye. Cool. Or they'll be like, or they'll just think I'm right all the time.
I think it's that one.
That's probably it.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to this week's podcast. If you like the dumb shit that comes out of my mouth and you would like to tell me how smart I am and great my opinions are, you can follow me on the Twitter machine at Herder.
You can follow me, Dale DeRuiter, on the Twitter machine at SuperDaleBot. You don't have to go there and tell me I'm right. Just fucking pay attention to me. That's good enough. You can follow the podcast Twitter at Outrage Fact Pod. You could send us an email if you want to go old-ish school at outragefactpod@gmail.com. Facebook is facebook.com Outrage Fact Pod. And yeah, is our Patreon. Maybe we should do something for the Hey, how about this? As a chance to give us some feedback, tell us what it would take for you to sign up for the Patreon. Like if it would be like more content, like premium content, like we talk more, like we could make like a subset of the show. Like we could turn Outrage Factory into a network, and then we could take like my conspiracy show and make that like a sub show, and then that could be premium content. Yeah. I just saw that Tennille said that I was like Homer Simpson, and I was immediately upset. But then she said you also can't get offended by a sweet guy like that, so I'm not upset.
I'm like, how do I interpret this? Does that mean I'm harmful and not sweet?
It's a double-edged sword because you're also not Homer Simpson and not harmless.
I'm the bald guy here.
That's true.
Yeah, tell us more what you would like to see. Give us money on Patreon.
Well, what is the Patreon up? Because I don't
fucking know anymore.
You felt guilty taking money from people for this, so and Patreon being the greedy assholes that they are, they're like, right, if you're not charging money, it's closed, and they close it down on us because we didn't charge money or something. So, if worst case scenario, we'll have to make a new Patreon, but I think all you have to do is search Outrage Factory. But yeah, let us know what you want to see. We can even send you like swag, like I can make stickers or muggies like this one, or masks or whatever.
Maybe we'll like do this Patreon thing properly and set it up so that people get like fucking incentives and shit to sign up for it, and then
Yeah, exactly.
Dale and I do cameos. We'll do cameos for you. We'll wish the people in your life a happy birthday. We're good at it.
Dude, we could do like the WCW, or not WCW, WWE, and charge $450 for a cameo. Could you imagine if somebody paid us $450 for a cameo?
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't, but that, like, fucking, it was like, there are people out there making fucking $450 to record a 1 minute. And I always love the ones that are like some fucking celebrity, like just laying on their couch being like, I'm like clearly reading a prepared skit, and they're making hundreds of dollars to do that, and it's just like, it's dog shit. Put some pride in your work. Dale and I we'll do like a big fucking theatrical production for $450.
I just want to forewarn you though, if you pay me $450 just for me to say hi to someone, my ego forever will be poisoned, and I will just be narcissistic, and I won't be the humble, sweet guy that I am right now. But you should still give me money to do it. I don't know why I just talked you out of it.
I don't give a fuck. What are you doing?
I'll edit that out. I'll edit that out.
Yeah, edit out. All right, everyone. Thanks for fucking joining us, and until next week,
stay angry.
Peace.